Hello, welcome back to another video, and today we have these very spooky double upload for Halloween, because this is a tutorial and simultaneously with this video the showcase will go live, so check that out if you haven't already, because this is the 540 block cave trapdoor 558, I guess. And yeah, this is the tutorial, so let's get right into it. You're gonna need a 9 by 12 hole, which is 5 under the floor. Your door will be as centered as it gets. And for the items, 8 torches, 30 dust, 30 repeaters, 50 stickies, 7 normals, 4 redstone blocks, 8 comparators, a toggled input block like a lever or a button hooked up to a T-flip-flop or whatever, you know. A furnace, as well as 7 droppers, 9 hoppers, a detector rail, and a note block. And then you're going to need 85 building blocks if you want to color code them, there you go. As well as 6 slabs and an obsidian. Or any movable block, really. And then, of course, 100 door blocks. Some of these need to be pushable, some of these need to be powerable, and you know. The drop hoppers you might need more, so there's a modification you can do where you add a bigger drop hopper box right here, and that gets rid of the ugly last pulse of this one, but you add a loud clicking noises, so you want to know if you want a faster, cleaner animation or loud clicky noises or silent clicky noises. No, you know, whatever. And you need over a chest of unstackable items. Otherwise, this shit will be clicky as fuck and might break. I haven't tested it yet. So 28 unstackables and then 7 normal items, as well as 2 chest mine carts. And then to set them up, you're gonna need a fence, rails, blocks, a piston, and a lever or a 0-tick generator, because these are floated. So yeah. I'm gonna do the tutorial in a really unusual way, right? Because the heart and soul of this door is purple and then yellow, I guess. So where normally I would just go build outwards from the input circuit, I really want to show off purple on its own because it's ridiculous. And yeah, so that's why this tutorial doesn't follow the usual way of layout and that circuit. Okay, so from your input block, which is in the corner over here with a 1-tick, with a lever, and it's 2 from the floor. You want a torch upwards into. I'll just not color code this right now, okay? I will show off purple and then we'll go back and color code everything properly. So you want a torch with 2 1-ticks into a block, into a dust, into a dropper hopper for that sweet half redstone tick delay, into that comparator. And now we enter purple territory. So the first purple territory, the first purple is a 4-tick right here onto this dust. So the way this works is we have this piston right here, which needs to 1-tick a bunch. So the way I do that is to have a standard falling edge right here. These are green, by the way. These aren't, but these 3 are green. So every time this fires, that one is going to 1-tick. That's going to happen like 4 times. So yeah, and then these, I guess. So we have door blocks right here, and then our slider below. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is we want these classic 1-tick, 0-tick, and 0-tick and classic door storage, 1-tick and then fully extended. So that goes into a 2-tick, into 4 ticks, into a torch and a dust. So this torch will be a rising edge monostable, because we have up here we have a dust on a a dust on a slab going into 4 ticks. And under that 4 tick we are going to have, well, we're going to have a bunch of for the door block, and that one gets powered from here, I guess. And then we're going to have this sticky piston pushing the block over this. So this will create a rising edge monostable right there, as you can see. And afterwards, this thing is going to just get hard powered from this torch. So essentially we have the exact same circuit here as we have here, but there's like, what, 12 ticks delayed, 13 ticks, 12, 15, whatever. Because we need to give this time to extend. Okay, so let me explain something real quickly. So we have this slider right here with a double sticky piston, this sticky piston, our door block, and then 4 random blocks going into these 2 normal slider things. And in here will be a note block which gets pushed down. So what this needs to do is we need to get a signal into this area, like into these guys, as fast as possible. Because we need to get this extension when this thing turns off. So we have, what, 3, 7, 11, and then another 4 for this to turn off and this to fire. So we have like 15 ticks or something to get into this state from over here, while at the same time needing to generate 1 ticks and shit, so yeah. And then this is going to fire, 1 ticking this guy here, putting air there, and then this is going to fire and bud it from here. And that's how the double works. And then for the opening, this will retract. This will retract. This thing is going to turn off grabbing that guy. And then these are being pushed back over. And then this is also, like, this one is abused for the yellow, but we'll get there when we get there. So how does this work, and how the fuck does it fit in like a 1 by 5 by 4 area? Well, we have 1 tick right here, and then dust, updater piston right here. This is a 2 tick block, 4 tick. There's an updater piston right there actually, and an obsidian below, which is multi-purpose, because it's also blocking yellow from fucking up. And then dust right here, block 3 ticks into here, and then a block, and then an updater piston right here, I guess. So that is purple, except it's not. We have a falling edge right here with a 1 tick going into comparator. This comparator is super important into blocks with dust. That door block needs to be powerable, and there's another block right here. And that is purple. Now, there's so much going on in here that, like, I could talk about it for 10 more minutes. That didn't work because I didn't put this needs to be a stackable item, obviously. We need to get into there. Oops. So yeah. You can see the reason why this only works in 1.13 and above, because we have a movable note block here as an bud updater for this guy. If I now fire this again with a stackable item in there, you can see that there's the 1 tick from here, and then this thing extends, and then all of these get powered simultaneously. We also need to watch out that this dust doesn't actually hard power this guy, it instead needs to power that guy. So that's the reason why this comparator is important. We need to we can't have a 2 tick repeater right here, because if there's a 2 tick repeater, this guy will extend. But we have a falling edge 1 ticking here for the 1 ticking on this guy. On the, well, whatever. And then we have, so this 1 tick can't go through to this guy, otherwise this thing won't be able to grab the thing. And that's why that's a comparator, though, so that comparator doesn't actually eat the 1 tick from here. And yeah, this piston is updating this on the retraction because when this vortic goes out, the thing, yeah, whatever. So you can see how there is still this one tick. So these cause the one ticking grabbing after this retracted on the opening, and then these just get pushed over. Okay, that was 10 minutes and probably didn't make a lot of sense, but that's purple. Purple fits into this 1 by 5 by 5 space, and it's absolutely insane how I managed to do that. The timing is super precise on this, so there are a bunch of signs on my synergy plot on the initial prototype. So we are limited by these two vortics. There is literally no further I can delay it, because these two vortics dictate everything, because I don't have any more space to do it, right? Because so this 2-tick is always a 2-tick. These two vortics are exactly what these two vortics are. So if I would find a way to speed this up, I could tick off both of these. But there is no way around these two 1-ticks. There is technically a way around this dropper, but that would make yellow not work. So, and then there's no way around this 4-tick because I need a 4-tick, because the 3.5 ticks off of this would fuck up everything. So yeah. And then in blue later here, we also need like the exact same delay we have here +2. And then in this side right here, we actually need half the delay as these two 4-ticks. So that's just a 1 4-tick, right? So there were versions where this was a 3 and where this was a 2, and these were this was a 3 and shit. But this is what ended up working, because there are other timing issues which need to be addressed by the door. Mainly blue not fucking up, because if we start building blue, you will see that this right here is a thing in blue. And if this thing happens before this can happen, well, you know that nothing will happen now. So there are like 5 timing issues, all relying on what the fuck these two repeaters are. And now that I completely destroyed probably everything, and this is a completely shit tutorial because you can't follow anything, right? I'll finish the front and the back, I guess. So here's the standard block storage from a 4x4 circuit. 2 vortics up here. This is a block. This is 2, 4, and then a torch. This is just 2 torches and a 1-tick, 3 dust, 1-tick, 2-tick, updater piston. This is 2 sticky pistons, a note block getting pushed downwards, and an updater piston. This is a normal piston. Right here you can see 2 3-ticks, a 4-tick comparator, and a 1-tick in the redstone block. And then here is just the standard block drop thing. And yeah, I hope you can somewhat follow if you want to build this. So for this side, I guess, we have our 3 doubles with our 3 singles on top. And then there's also this single, I guess. And the way we power these is with 1-tick right here going into this block for this double piston extender. So yeah, and this right here with this torch conveniently can be powered by the furnace trick Purple Dragon Nuke showed me years ago on actually a 5x5 cave trapdoor. So you want a furnace right here, and then a comparator wall, and then we negate that with a dust and power the furnace with a 4-tick off of the torch. And that does the entire opening, the entire extension of this stuff, except this piston, but we get there. And then when we do the retraction, we also get the abogate, and then we just need to pulse these again, and yeah, that will work out then. So the way we do that is we have a dropper right here. with an item going in a circle. There's actually a second item in there for, but yeah, there are two items in there because this will also be affecting magenta. So the first item will travel around and get stuck by this dust in this position. And you can hopefully see how that's going to help us, because that extends the single piston which we were missing before, and that will also do the grabbing on the closing. Now, you might be asking yourself, how the fuck does this power again for the closing? So this door block right here needs to be powerable. Because when this door block retracts, I can show you it from this angle. When this door block retracts, it will be still powered by this dust. So the door block gets powered by the dust, the piston turning from block 36 into a piston updates this piston, which now gets butted through the door block to extend again, and then put the block back over the torch, which will power this thing again. So if I just put a piston there, you can... That's the first one, and then that's the second. So not only is this a rising edge one-tick generator, this is also a falling edge. This right here is a dual edge one-tick in a corner where there's no real room for anything like that. And then to fix this guy, because well, this one tick is preventing the ABBA gate. Well, there's no ABBA gate, right? The reason why there's a second item in here as well is because we're gonna do the same thing again, but with a thing like this. So this is going to power both of them simultaneously, but then this one will stay on for longer. So if I just give you this point of view, you can see how that works. And that's the entire backside done. Really neat how this thing fits in one white slice. I've managed to slip in a fucking one-tick dual edge in here for no reason really. Okay, I guess there's a reason. And now the only thing that's left are the triple, like the blue triple, basically the front side. Sorry if you can hear the dog in the background, there is nothing I can do about it. Be right back. So the blue circuit, which I sort of started. So we can basically destroy these guys, because they aren't actually what they appear to be. Because for blue we're going to have to activate to power these two triples, these three doubles, and these 5 singles. And that's a bit complicated. Because we are storing the redstone block right here, using the green circuit to do the standard block storage thing off of 3x3s. So when we fire green, it will not only it will, as you can see right there, it will extend the redstone block out twice, and then you get extract this back. You probably have seen this circuit before. This failed because we cut the connection to this purple, so don't worry about that. So with our redstone block in this position, we have a door block right here, and then one of the sliding blocks here, and then the other there, as well as blocks here, because this needs to be unpushable, and there's an obsidian here for that. So more door blocks, I guess, and now to powering them. The dark blue circuit hasn't really changed much from the last door. The last door had a one-tick going into there, and that now has been replaced for a different kind of thing. Because these are here, so we can't really do anything here. We still have this one piston to extend it in the doorway. We still have this thing powering that, because this is in reality a slab. And this needs redirecting with a rail. So still a dust there, still a 2-tick with this on a slab. Still a 2-tick here, into a gray block in the wall. Not that one. So that's dark blue. That does the triple. If you power this, it will do the... It won't do anything because we are missing an updater piston. Right there. And that will, you know, this will work. Oh, I'm missing, oh yeah. So there we go, I was missing that dust. And if we just place a block right there, we see that does all the triple stuff, and then if we turn that off, it will retract to here, and then if we give this a 2-tick or a 4-tick, I guess, this will, yeah, it was a 4-tick, wasn't it? So full extension, and then a 4-tick will retract everything. So that's the entire triple circuit. This needs a block right there because we are no longer powering it from here. We are actually powering it from up here with some signal with a hopper timer. Now, the reason this hopper timer has 3 random items and then 2 shovels. I believe it was 3. Yes, it was 3. Now the reason for this bullshit, right, is because if you look at this, this is 2 dust. The items will only give a single strength of 1. So the moment you flick this torch, the first item will go. And if that would hard power everything, then 4 ticks later this thing would block purple, and I just showed you how purple needs to fire before this thing gets activated. So that's why we have a little hopper timer which delays the incoming item or like signal strength expansion onto here, which, yeah, is cool shit, I guess. And then for the retraction, there are 2 shovels in there because this doesn't actually allow to retract as early as it wants, for a reason which I have actually forgotten. There probably was a reason. Yeah. So to power all the singles, you want a 2-tick pointing into that. That could be a 1-tick, but if it's a 2-tick, it will be in sync with all of these. With these 1-ticks, so with these singles, so just make it a 2-tick, it'll look nice. And yeah, so now for the yellow box of bullshit. We have a sticky piston right here, obviously, to grab, and a normal piston here to push the thing back over. The issue is we need to keep this butted, just like the last one, which had a butted one right here. But because we can't obviously do this because of the slider on top now. So there's no good way to keep this thing extended like this, because we need to obviously fire it to extend this and then keep it on whilst this there is nothing you can do here. So the idea I had recently, which actually is the reason why this works, is to just put a double behind it. Because if we put a double behind it and then build this circuit, which like this, and then give that a 4-tick, you can see that, yeah, okay, this is a really shit angle. So if I just give this a 4-tick with the 2 blocks right here, which would be there in case if this was fired. So if I give this a 4-tick on the first time, it will just push this block over. And then on the second time, it will extend, but keep this thing butted through this. So this fake double idea, which is also why this needs to be unpushable, was the random idea I had which made this work after this sitting around my world for half a year not working because of this corner. And yeah, so we can't sadly have it like this. We're gonna have to elevate this onto here, and then this needs to be a 2-tick for extra delay because we're going to power this with from here. But 2 4-ticks and a 1-tick right here will be too fast because the first tick, which I showed, which just pushes this block over, actually comes from this. We're going to fire this. This line. So what's going to happen is, just like in purple, this 4-tick is going to trigger this falling edge, and that's the first pulse for yellow. And then this pulse comes through yellow, like the actual yellow, and fires. So this is too fast, so we need an extra tick of delay there. And that causes problems. That causes real problems. I'm going to show you in a second. So yeah, that's why this block also fires at the very end of the opening. And yeah, so the problem we have now is with this 2-tick, this thing down here is no longer guaranteed to work. What I mean by that is this is now locational, because this dust and this dust need to fuck up this piston. So if I just do this, you can see that this is actually a spot where it works. We need this dust and this dust to keep this on, which is actually the sort of quote-unquote wrong thing to do. Because if this thing stays on for after this dust is off, we have our bud updater for down here. It took me a while to figure this out, right? So if I just build this again over here. Now hopefully this is a place where it actually fails. Yeah, you see? So if this is a 1-tick, this so these will retract in after 4 ticks, and by the time this piston manifests in this very position for block 36, this block is still powered by this repeater. So it will retract into here and then get turned off. That's what we want with the 1-tick. If this is a 2-tick, however, that won't happen anymore because this thing turns on when this thing is already fully retracted. So if we however, if we keep this thing right here on for an extra tick, or if we manage to get this into a budded position, like so, I guess. So if we manually, or like, if we are either in a position where this works, or if we are in a position where we have to do this manually, if we keep this thing extended, this repeater turning on will bud update this piston head, causing this turning on to retract this guy into this position. So that artificially increases the pulse lengths of this and decreases the delay between the two things. So if you are in a spot where this works, this was totally accidental, by the way. This is the exact same coordinates as I built it on Synergy, so I knew this works. And this was just 5 to the right, as I always do. So this was completely accidental that this also works. So if you are in a location where this thing fails, like well, like so, you need to add this external circuit where you go down one here over and a 1-tick into this block. That will bud this artificially. But yeah, this is only needed in some locations, so this is technically legally 540 blocks. So yeah. We don't want this thing to fire on the opening, but so we're going to repeater lock this from the input, which, yeah. But there's actually stuff in here, so if I just replace all of this, at the end, this double piston extender will leave the block right here. So we're going to have a comparator right here getting a signal from this drop hopper with a random item in it. And the comparator drop hopper which went back in here is this guy. This guy could be like this if you are in 1.16, but I'm going to show you it. The tutorial shows you the version which works simultaneously in 1.15 and 1.16, so we're going to have to do something different here. We are going to have an upwards facing dropper under this guy getting butt updated from this single extending right there. And that will fire the item into a minecart into this hopper, which then puts it into this sideways facing dropper back into here. So that's a mess, I know. I'm sorry. We're going to have 2 1-ticks on top of this, and now we're going to place our minecarts. So we have 2 of them, and they are right next to each other, which is nice and convenient. So get yourself your 2 minecarts and place them right here, break all the fences and all the rails, and place a piston pointing into them. Now you want to 0-tick that piston. The easiest way is to place a lever on the side, not the back. Make sure it's the side and just tick that. That moves the thing a tiny bit, and it's now in a state which we call floated over to that side. What that means is it's technically not inside this piston, so I can just place blocks right here, but this dropper will accept that minecart as a target for items. So yeah. Technically speaking, this minecart could also just sit right here between these 4 blocks, but this is just easier because then the piston doesn't need to be clipped and other stuff. And, you know, just do it. It's not hard. And in this dropper back here, you want 2 items, 2 unstackables for the single strength of 2. Because there's going to be a fucking item loop in here. So I showed you dark blue still needs a falling edge 4-tick pulse, or 3-tick pulse, I guess. So the way we do that is by having a dropper hopper right here with an unstackable item which is powered by this torch. And now you see why this works in 1.16 like I showed before, because this dust getting redirected by this repeater in 1.16 will fire this dropper without firing this. In 1.50, neither of these droppers will fire. So that's why we have it under here. And that's why we need minecarts. So now that that's done, we need a block right here for firing the back part of this double, which isn't like too complicated. So what we have right now is everything working except for the firing of this storage. So if we just properly bud this guy and fire this, you can see we get the entire closing, and if we open it like so, you see we get the extra pulse on the dark blue, and the dark blue pulse also pushes over this slider because of this thing pointing into there, obviously. And now all that's left is yellow. And to refire yellow, we just need to fire this comparator again. So we can just use this torch to put a 1-tick into this dropper to fire an extra item into that minecart. Like so. And there you see the extra moving thing. So right now is the time where you realize why there are two items in here, because one of them is going to be stuck in this, which is like a locational thing, which because this dust will power this dropper and that dropper, so depending on which one fires first, locationality. And how do we now? We need to get an item back into here to reset the item station. So there's another dropper below that, and a hopper pointing into there, sucking from there. Now, that means that this thing needs to be full so that this thing can be full, so that an item can actually go back into this dropper. But if that thing is full and gets fired like 3 times, then this thing also needs to be full, and that's where all the items come from. So you have a full dropper right here, a full dropper right here, a full hopper down here, and then two here. And this won't make any noise, surprisingly, because this one will try to fire, but this is full, so it can't, and even if it would make sound, so yeah. And now we are actually done. This thing will work now. And I forgot these. I double-clicked that. And there we go. So I can show you a modification for this final pulse. So instead of having this dropper right here be the way it is, you can also have it like you can also have this be a 3-station dropper. This be a 3-station dropper thing. So instead of having this point into there, you can have you can have this guy point to the side here. Make sure to not touch these, by the way. And then this go up and over and back into here. Now this needs to be a dropper because this needs to be a solid block, obviously, for this comparator to power it. But so this will prevent the whole this will create a bunch of noise, but it will save you the quote-unquote, the slower and ugly last block thing. You can already hear it right now. And then there you go, that will be retracted. And I believe if the item is in a different starting location than this, it will also fire earlier. I have to check synergy though. Yeah, there you go. So if the item starts in the top dropper, then this will be super fast, and this block is now the slowest thing, and you can't get rid of that due to the way that yellow operates. And that's how you build the thing with the optional mode, like dropper box thing. In 1.13 all the way through to 1.16. The 1.16 version, due to the redirection thing, can actually just get rid of the minecarts by placing a sticky piston in front of this repeater and then retracting this block instead of having repeater locks here and then doing some other crazy stuff in this location. But this is the version which works in both, and I didn't want to do 3 tutorials. So yeah, here we go, there we are, this is how you build it. This was like, oh my god, we're at 40 minutes already, fuck. Terribly sorry, the structure and pacing was probably a fucking mess, because I really wanted to show purple, and there was no real way to show purple without like building this giant other stuff, because you saw the thing literally goes from here to here into purple. Well, the second signal, it's racing actually, goes from here through here into purple. So because you know the first double of this needs to happen, and then this signal needs to fire the falling edge, and then this needs to forever further. Spooky shit. Yeah, probably a mess. Thanks for watching. Again, if you run into a location where this does not work, you want a one tick right here, like this, and that shape fixes the locationality issue. And yeah, if this breaks, make sure that this thing stays butted. These guys will probably be pushed out to here. This guy might get pushed out to here. And you need to watch out that this piston doesn't get pushed down to here by the node block by accident if someone spams it, and you need to reset it. And don't touch the minecart. Make absolutely sure no one touches the minecarts. Not only touches them here, but they occupy these blocks as well, so make sure that these blocks are also covered up as well as this guy, I guess. So yeah, thank you for watching. This video was a fucking mess. I am super sorry. Bye. Accidentally left click.